Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Nigeria. My name is Anthony Momodu, welcoming you to Television Nigerian, where we give you the best news and information just to ensure that you're well informed and just to ensure that your day is truly awesome. And this is welcoming you to Africa's finest breakfast show. And I've got with me one of Nigeria's finest ladies on screen. Good morning, how you doing?
Good morning. I always love it anytime you get to see the most beautiful, because I think I am.
No, you don't have to think, you are.
I know I am.
Okay, good.
I know I am. All right, so today the show is not about me. Basically, it's about what is happening in Nigeria. My name is Cynthia Agbo, and of course, this is Television Nigeria, and this is a Daybreak Nigeria right here.
All right, definitely we kickstart the program by sharing some of our concerns for this morning. And I'll be beginning from the U.S., where Florida lawmakers have said, okay, they passed a bill to say restriction of sale of firearms and also for teachers to bear arms. And it's been causing a lot of uproar. For you, do you think it's okay for teachers to bear arms in class?
I think it's not okay. Basically, if you ask me, like you've done now, it's not okay for teachers to carry firearms, because trust me, once a person is conscious that he has something he can always use to defend himself, even though you don't want to do it, there's just this that comes into you, like what Africans will say, one force will push you, and you don't even know when a child just does something offensive and that's it.
Instead of the cane.
Instead of the cane, now you're having your gun. So I think it shouldn't even be thought about to even pass something like that, to even have raised something like that. But if you consider what's been happening in the US, listening to the news and all of that, the shootings, most people are feeling, okay, don't you think these people should have this?
To protect themselves.
But if you ask me, it's a no-no.
All right, it's a no-no, and we're also sharing our concerns. Let's go straight to what's happening in Africa here. We've got Egypt, we've got the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, talking about Mohammed bin Salman visiting Egypt first time in a long while, and also signing a deal worth about $10 million for the Egyptian counterpart. Do you think that's a positive move by Saudi Arabia, or probably he's trying to get more allies, knowing how strategic Egypt is?
If he intends to get more allies, is it a bad thing? No, I don't want to call it political. I want to say it's just building proper relationship.
Okay.
So if he wants to go about the business side, it's fair enough. But before we go further to the stories, have you let us tell our viewers that we are outside enjoying nature's gentle touch, and as you can see, I think I would love to be here every time.
The cool breeze makes it awesome, and that's why we're Africa and Nigeria's finest. We ensure that you have a feel of the beauty of the country called Nigeria, the biggest black race, and indeed we're awesome. And this is one of the beautiful spots we've got. But let's keep you informed. I'll give you the big stories making the round, starting from the home front. We've got that President Muhammadu Buhari is visiting the troubled states where violence is holding sway, talking about Zamfara, Taraba, and co. A lot of people have said it's long overdue for the president to make this visit, but on the other part, you say probably it's just strategic.
It is very, very strategic. I think that for whatever reason why he must have waited till this time, he has his reasons best known to him. And I'm very, very sure that those reasons are for the betterment of the people. Because I am very much aware that it is not right for, some people have it, that it is not right for a president to just go visit a troubled state when the trouble just finished or when it's still on, while others think that a president should always go
on the spot
when it's happening.
Solidarity.
And some people want to call different countries example of presidents or rulers who have done that while the trouble started. We don't want to call names of countries, but we listen to the news and we know that different presidents get to do that. But if our president has a different view to it, then fine. But at least he has started moving, and so it's a good one.
All right, kudos to the president and everybody leading this great country. All right, let's move forward. The next big story, we've got George Well, the president of Liberia, visiting President Muhammadu Buhari at the villa, and saying after the meeting, came out and said, Liberia is open for business. Good news?
Well, is that good news?
I think it's good news, knowing how well George Weah means for Liberia, you want to say it's something worth giving it a shot. Nigerian businessmen probably will go out there and see what they can offer the Liberian people and get something in exchange.
I know some people want to ask, what can Liberia possibly offer Nigeria?
Okay, well, they've got a lot of diamonds and other jewelries, which, if refined properly, could be sold. And who says we cannot go have a block of where we get loads of diamonds? All right, you have the next stories.
I have something here that says suspected headsmen, have killed 17 people in Opoku local government area in Benue State.
Really sad story.
This is really sad. Although this is not the first time that we are having issues of headsmen, in Benue State. This is not the first time we are hearing good number of people dying, in Benue State. Just some months back, we had a good number of people that died, due to this headsman clash and the rest of them. And
which led the president to send the Inspector General of Police to Benue State.
And even though some people were not happy because of the way the burial was, like it was like a mass burial. It wasn't really nice. It wasn't really befitting. It wasn't appealing to the eyes. But the thing is, I think something needs to be done in Benue State so that we can put an end to the killing, because it's not very good when you hear that, because you never can tell. You might have a brother, a friend, a relation, someone there, and you just get to that okay, he just wake up one morning and he's dead due to headsmen. You will never understand how sad it feels until you have someone that has been through that.
All right, still giving you big stories on the home front. The last stories here, we've got the state of emergency being called by the Niger Delta chieftain and elder statesmen, talking about Edwin Clark, saying the president should declare state of emergencies in those states where violence holds sway. Do you think that's the way to go? Do you think that's going to help the security agencies get the job done?
Well, declaring a state of emergency, to me, it's like you trying to be too extreme, if you ask me.
Okay.
Because I feel before you declare state of emergency, you should make a good move first of all.
All right, that's the stories we have on the local scene. Let's flip over. We've got some big stories making the rounds on the foreign scene. And let's begin from Serbia, where the sudden melting of snow has caused flooding. A very sad story there. And moving over to Italy, we've got Italians went to the polls, but the polls were not conclusive, as the results gives us a parliament that's hanging. So it means issues going on in Italy. The next story.
Well, another foreign story, we have thousands are without water in the UK due to sudden burst of pipes due to sudden thaw.
So things can go wrong in the UK.
Of course, it's not only Africa.
All right, that's just taking a swipe at the European people. But let's tell you that the big news coming from the United Nations says trucks entering Ghouta in Syria have been stopped due to the violence still holding sway right there in Syria. Very, very sad story.
Very sad.
And from Mexico, the last big story there says about 40 politicians have been killed since December, heading to this 2018 elections coming up in Mexico. It tells you that the violence in Mexico is really, really bad. If it's not drugs, it's something else.
I think that Mexico, right from time, people have always had this notion about Mexico that it's a den of where different ills, different terrible violence take place. But I think they should find a way to put an end to that and get a new leaf and get a new identity. Well, that is the much we can take. Basically.
Definitely. But I know sports fans would not be happy with me if I don't pass this message.
Okay.
The Red Devils, Manchester United fans all over the world. It was awesome last night. There were 2 goals down, and the Red Devils came back to Chris Smalling, the defender, and they had Lukaku score the equalizing goal. And Matic, but from Chelsea, gave them the winning goal, and that was awesome. And the Red Devils back in second place in the English Premier League, that's how quality rap. And
the only reason I allowed you to say that is because I am proudly a Red Devil.
Okay, now you've got 2 Manchester United fans right here, and it makes it all awesome.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be going for
a short break.
When we come back, we'll be discussing the trending issue as regards security in Nigeria. We have the Peace Corps of Nigeria, whose bill was passed the third reading, and it was left for President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to it. But Mr. President did say that the cost implication of paying these officers and other issues made it impossible for him to ascend,
Send the bill.
and it has caused lots of uproar. And we'll be having a
Someone
guest
in the house.
talking about Jai Geskia, who is also a security expert, and also he's gunning to be the first Nigerian to be the independent presidential candidate come 2019 and going forward when that is passed in the National Assembly. So we'll be having someone who is top-notch talk to us about this particular issue. That will be after this break.
Tune in and stay tuned to TVN, Television Nigeria, broadcast beyond boundaries.